For Real Madrid, it was a record-extending 36th La Liga title after Barcelona lost to Girona in the Catalan derby over the weekend. It was scenes of jubilation in Madrid. For Carlo Ancelotti, it's his 6th league title in a career that has scored across La Liga, Serie A, English Premier League, the French Ligue 1, and of course, the German Bundesliga. With that, I welcome you to another exciting edition of Sports Pizza, your #1 sports show. My name is Edwin Onyebolise. We have so much to unpack on the show today. It is no longer news that Finidi George is the new coach of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. We'll be talking about that and a lot more on the show. In the race for the Premier League title, it has been narrowed down to Arsenal and Manchester City. 2 games left for Arsenal, 3 more for Manchester City. Who will it be on the final day of the season? We're doing this not alone, but with my guy, David Abe, in the building. But first, let's catch our breath. Go on a break. When we come back, we'll delve into action. It is Sports Pizza. Don't change the channel. Welcome back. This is Sports Pizza. Edwin Onyebolise is the name if you're joining us for the very first time. I have my guy in the building, David. What's up, David? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, Edwin, but I'm very tense.
Why
I'm very tense? They say football is not an extreme sport, but watching football is an extreme sport because you are an Arsenal fan and then you win and you cannot even celebrate your victories because you have a juggernaut coming behind it. It's difficult these days, but we just have to see it through.
And this year makes it 20 years since the Invincible.
It's not yet official. Let's not celebrate the anniversary.
All right, before we get into all of that, David, we have to start from the home front. Like I said, it's no longer news. Finidi George is the manager of the Super Eagles, the successor to Jose Peseiro. In fact, he was backroom staff with Peseiro 20 months honing his skills as regards to the national team job. Where do you stand in all of this? There were muted names around the corridors. You had Emmanuel Amunike on the forward scene. There was Javi Renard. Do you think the NFF have arrived at the best candidates in this moment for the Super Eagles?
Well, I hold my hands up first of all and say I wanted a foreign manager. But if they were going to go local, which they have done, I think they were going for the best option we have. All the other local names that were mentioned, Amunike, when was the last time he has actually done anything? Since the 2021 Nations Cup were knocked out. And then the taking over with Eguavon for the World Cup qualifying, we lost out. He has not been actively involved. But, I like the trajectory that Finidi George has undergone. Did his coaching badges with Real Betis in the Spanish system. Found his way, came to Nigeria to come and actually show that he has what it takes. He's a league champion. And I think it's the best option we have. And I'm okay with it. I'll support him all the way.
Going forward, we have the World Cup qualifiers. The Super Eagles are 3rd on the table. We also have the AFCON qualifiers coming next year. We have the 2025 AFCON in Morocco. He needs to get the ball rolling. But from the 2 games he took charge of, the last international break, one against Ghana, the other against Mali. Did you see any semblance of a tactically sound coach?
Well, when those matches were played, because it was substantive at that time, I didn't want to really judge him. But I think now that he's been appointed, I think I have to reflect back on those matches and what I saw. So I think the fact that we didn't have most of our key players for those internationals were a factor. But I saw a team that actually, tried to play football, especially against Ghana, where we say, okay, Ghana is not a very strong opposition, but they tried to play, expansive football. He will be played in his natural position as a creative midfielder, and also the return of Ndidi allowed us to have that balance in midfield. So I think Finidi has shown at least enough to believe that he has something going for him and hopefully can take us going forward.
If you are the NFF president, if you are Alhaji Ibrahim Gusso, what targets will you be setting for Finidi George?
Oh, absolutely. Get us to the World Cup and also get us to the Nations Cup next year. And then we can now set another bunch of targets for him. But those 2 most especially, because we've not gone to the last World Cup and the Nations Cup, we got to the final, so we're expected to go further in the next one. But I think those 2 targets, get us to the World Cup and get us to the Nations Cup next year. As
a former player himself, a former international, for some it feels like it is an advantage. It is someone who understands the terrain. It is someone who has been there, has seen it, has won it. won the AFCON in 1994, was part of that golden generation that went to the USA in 94 World Cup, got to the round of 16, got to, in fact, he played in 2 World Cups, 94 and 1998. Is someone who I think the players will look up to, respect, and relate with, because, like I said, he was in their shoes a couple of years ago.
Well, we've been here before. Let me be able to say that at least 80% of our local managers have been, you know, from that 91st set. Stephen Keshi, Augustine Guavon, Samson Siasi, and now Finidi Joe. So I think all of them carry the same aura of being a golden generation. You know, they have something going for them. And Finidi has shown, okay, he has coaching credential. What he did with Enyimba cannot be taken for granted. You know, even last season they were champions. This season they are also in the mix there, so it shows that there's consistency. Something is there to work with. So I think the players will be able to, you know, relate with him, and I think it will work well for him.
All right, we're wishing Finidi George all the best as he takes charge of. I know Enyimba fans will come for me as he takes charge of the biggest job of his career yet. And who says he might do back-to-back titles with Enyimba before fully resuming with the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Still with football, it's time to talk Nigerian players scorecard. David, what do we have on the show today?
Well, so the season is coming to an end gradually all over Europe and the rest of the world, and our Nigerian players are, you know, getting into gear. So I think first off, Ibrahim Olawoye, a name most people who are familiar with the Nigerian scene will know. You know, Rangers, Abia Warriors, and I think now he's in Turkey with Kayseri Rizespor. You know, 8 goals and 3 assists in 29 games, first season in Turkish football. So I think he's a good winger. He's making a shout for himself to probably get a call up to the Super Eagles. Then there's Rafael Onyedika, you know, another one fresh off the line of FC Ebide. If you are familiar with Nigerian football, FC Ebide in the local NLO, the first stage, and they're producing talent. You know, Paulo Onuachu, Frank Onyeka, and now, you know, Onyedika, player of the month in April for the Belgian league. So I think it's a good one for him. He made some cameos at the AFCON, and I think it's a good one for him. Now midfield is going to be a very good addition for us. And so those players, basically, they did very well over the course of the weekend for Nigeria.
Still on the local scene, David, at this time we're doing athletics. Over the weekend, it was the World Relay Championship in Bahamas. And Team Nigeria kept the flag flying. We qualified for the 4x100 male and female, 4x400 for the male, and 4x400 for the mixed.
So I think for those who had doubts that, okay, they were going to Bahamas probably to catch some Bahamas sun, I think the guys showed that they have what it takes, you know. And considering the fact that relay is one of our strong points, you know, we won gold at the 2004 Athens Olympics, you know, with the male, and also 1996, one of our first medals in the Olympics was, you know, Choma Ajunwa, Falila Tebukoya, the 4x100 women. So I think relay is a good strength for us, and I think they went there, did themselves proud, and then up to Paris they go.
Up to Paris they go. Shout out to Samuel Ogazi, Ella Onojo-Vuevo, Chidi Okeze, and Esther Elo Joseph in the 4x400 mixed relay teams. Automatic qualification for Team Nigeria at the Paris 2024 Olympics. We're looking forward to it with optimism, I would say, in this particular event. It is still Sports Pizza. My name is Edwin Onyebolise alongside David. We'll go on a break. When we come back, there's much more. All right, welcome back. It's still Sports Pizza, Edwin and David in the building. It's time to do Formula One, David. And for the first time since September 2023, Max Verstappen completed the entire race, but didn't finish first on the podium. That went to Lando Norris of the McLaren. It was a superb drive for the Brit. And this has added more spice to a Formula One season that we thought was going to be just one-way traffic for Max Verstappen.
Oh, absolutely. Very glad for Orlando. You know, 2 weeks ago we talked about his performance at the Chinese Grand Prix where he came second, and we said, okay, this is probably a come-and-get-me play. But now I think he's showing that he's here to stay. And I think his first win in 110 races. He's been in the F1 for 6 years, and I think it's a good one for him, coming at just the right time. And I think for those of us who expected, okay, probably a Ferrari and Mercedes challenge for Red Bull this season, I think McLaren are also trying to cook something behind the scenes. And with a driver like Lando Norris, who is, he's close friends with Max Verstappen. So I think he's probably going to want to challenge his friend all the way. I think it's a good one. 6 races now this season. We've seen only 4 from Red Bull, and then the remaining 2 have been split between Ferrari and now McLaren. So I think this is probably the challenge we want to. It's good for us who want a challenge for this season. Hopefully they can keep it going for the rest of the season.
And for Max Verstappen, I'm sure he's gutted, disappointed. Yeah. We expect him to bounce back in the next race. Completing the podium was Ferrari's Charles Leclerc. For Sir Lewis Hamilton, I only managed to finish 6th. And for my own man, my driver, my favorite, Fernando Alonso, was once again amongst the points. He finished the 9th on the points table, and it's an interesting season for Fernando Alonso. Also for Formula One enthusiasts. Away from that, in the world of tennis, despite battling illness, Andrew Rublev defeated Felix Auger-Aliassime in the Madrid Open. His first Madrid Open title, his second Masters 1000 title over the weekend. Happy for him. Happy for Rublev.
Yeah, absolutely. Great one for him. And he has a very quirky start. He has won 16 titles in his career. And all those 16 have come in 16 different cities. So he's sort of a globetrotter. And I think it's a good one for him. The fact that you mentioned it, he came into that match on the back of, illness. He had a virus. He had inflamed foot. And he couldn't even put his leg in his shoe properly. And I think a lot of things. But from the fact that he came into this tournament on the back of 4 consecutive losses, he felt like it might just be one of those tournaments. But when he now got to the quarterfinal and beating Carlos Alcaraz on home soil, I think that must have given him the motivation. He got to the final, and at some point he felt like he was going to throw it away. He kept handing the initiative to Felix Auger-Aliassime, but he could not take the initiative. And then he felt, okay, let me just sit over there. And he did what he needed to do, and it's a good one for him. On
the WTA side of the competition, it was the 2 best players currently on WTA tour. Igor Swiatek, world #1, versus Aryna Sabalenka. It was 3 hours of top-notch tennis. At the end of the day, Igor Swiatek prevailed.
Absolutely, and I think this was a repeat of last year's final also, and Sabalenka won. So I think now it's balanced 1-1. I think these 2 ladies, there's a reason why they are world #1 and world #2. They've been the 2 dominating forces in the, the likes of Coco Gauff and others have tried, but those 2 ladies are, the outstanding favorite. And I think the fact that Iga Swiatek has completed now the clay court, circuit. She has won in Madrid, she has won in Rome, and now she has done, this Monte Carlo. So I think Roland Garros, she's 3-time Roland Garros champion. It's a good one for her. These 2 are going to go head on head for the rest of this season to see who's going to come out tops.
All right, David, let's bring it home. Let's bring it home. When are we going to see Nigeria produce tennis players of this quality?
Well,
how soon? How far?
There are 2 or 3 names that are on the local scene that I'm looking out for. There's Mary Love Edwards. She's 16. She has, she got into Serena Williams Tennis Academy, and she's doing well. Hopefully she can make a breakthrough. And then there's also the Oysa sisters. They're also doing well. Both of them, they are below 15 years old, and those are the talents we are looking at. Hopefully, but it's funny that it's just ladies. The men are not doing enough. But the fact is, we're not investing enough in tennis. In Nigeria, tennis is still seen as probably an elitist sport. Only people that can go to the Ikoyi club and all these major highbrow tennis clubs all over Nigeria. So I think we need to invest more in tennis and get the best out of it. Or
maybe we should focus on the sports that gives us a lot of laurels. Maybe tennis is not part of it. I'm just trying to make a case for this.
Well, that's the point. But in fact, if we actually do the right things, we can get talent in almost every sport, apart from the long distance races.
200 million people.
Yeah, we have enough talent abound in different sports. We can get the best out. We just need to do what is right.
All right, this is, should I say, clarion call to the sport ministry? Maybe not a clarion call. I know they're doing their best, but we can do better. We can do better. David, let's get back to football. This time we started in Spain.
Absolutely.
It is Los Blancos, Real Madrid, 36 league titles. Do you think this is the beginning of a period of dominance for Real Madrid? You look at the squad, you compare it to Barcelona, a lot of uncertainties. You look at Atletico Madrid, an aging side with the coach who is trying to transition. He's still caught up in his old ways and the new ways. A lot of uncertainties with Real Madrid's arch rivals. But with this particular team, you look at the core of young players, you look at the experienced players, you look at the guys who are going to come in.
Yeah.
It feels like Real Madrid are here to dominate for probably 3-4 more seasons.
Oh, absolutely. If I can even extend it more than that, because everything is primed for that kind of dominance. We look at the core of that squad, like you said, they are less than 25, 26 years old players. You know, Jude Bellingham, Vinicius Junior, Rodrigo, Camavinga. These are, and the ones that are still coming. Hendrick is coming from Brazil. Then also there's the talk of Kylian Mbappe. Also, I think what Madrid are building, and also the fact that their rivals are not, seems like they are not going in the right direction. I think they are primed for, you know, domination in Spain like we have not seen in a long time.
Let's take stock of their season.
Yeah.
We're going to just limit it to
The league.
the league. Was it a case of Barcelona and Atletico Madrid being extremely poor, or it was a case of Real Madrid being so good the other two clubs couldn't keep up?
So it's a bit of a cliche, but it's a bit of both. But I'll tilt more on the side of Madrid being dominant. They've still only lost one game this season, and that's something that tells you why they are where they are this season. Fine, Barcelona have been absolutely awful. At the beginning of the season, they were in and out. Then in the middle of the, they've just been different seasons for them over the course of this season. And then Atletico Madrid, they have been struggling to even make the top 4 of La Liga. And I think Madrid have done what they needed to do. You know, Ancelotti, big ups to the man. He has done exactly what he needed to do. Even with the squad that had they've not had Courtois for a bulk of this season. And they've not had Eder Militao. They've mixed and matched. Tchouameni has had to play centre back at some point this season. I think
Alaba also out.
The quality in that team, and then Ancelotti allowing the players to do the best they can do and express themselves. I think everything has come together, and Madrid they're deserving champions.
All right, Hala Madrid. That is what Madrid fans will say. Quick one: who's been Madrid's best player
this season
so far?
Controversially, I would say Jude Bellingham. For me, I'll still be Madrid's best player. 32 goal contributions this season. His first season as a 20-year-old at the Santiago Bernabeu, which is a stadium that is known to famously swallow some big names. I think he has stepped up, and you know there were points where Vinicius was injured. Some of the other players were, but he has remained a constant, figure in that team, and I think he has been their standout player this season. All
right, away from the Spanish La Liga, we have to stop in England, where the title race is still heating up. But before we do Arsenal and Man City, quick one, Spurs, what has gone wrong with them? 4 consecutive losses. Has Hanje been found out, or fatigue, injury have caught up with Spurs?
So I think Hanje has been found out. This is one of the beauties of a league system, 38 games grueling. You might have your ups and downs, but if you are not consistent, those failings in your team is going to show. Fine, they've had issues with injuries. Madison has been out for some time. Son has not been at his usual levels, and they've had to make do with Richarlison. They even brought in Timo Werner in January. So I think, but the fact that Ange's tactics seem to have been found, that the consistent use of that high line and the way he plays, he allows teams to they give up too many chances for a team who has realistic ambition. After the Arsenal game, they were complaining about Spurs concede too many from set pieces, and the next thing he said was, "We're not bothered about things like if I saw it as a problem, I would have addressed it." And then the following game against Chelsea, they go and concede again from set piece. So I think Ange has not also done himself justice. Probably he's adjusting to the league. Hopefully next season, and then with more quality players, he can step up.
David, we have to talk about Arsenal and Manchester City. Yeah. For Arsenal, they have Manchester United next at Old Trafford, and they end the season with Everton coming to the Emirates. Yeah. For Manchester City, they have Fulham, they have Spurs, and they end the season at home with West Ham. When you weigh the strength of both opponents, for Arsenal and for Manchester City, who is likelier to draw points? Who is likelier to finish first?
Well, if it's a matter of likelier, I would say Arsenal are likelier to, I'm going to be honest, they are likelier to draw points against United at Old Trafford. Fine, when I say draw points, they're going to get a draw, and a draw is damaging to their season. I'm not saying they're going to lose, but they are more likely to drop points. And I think City, probably the London teams who want to do Arsenal a London. The funny thing is, all Man City's last 3 games are all London teams. I think they might want to do Arsenal a London favor, but I don't think so. London doesn't roll like that. But I think Arsenal are more likely to drop points in the game against United. But hopefully they can gain some confidence and try to get it done. But the sad part is, I think they might win their 2 games, but still win all the 3 games and still be champions.
Will it be a disappointing season if Arsenal fails to win the league?
Disappointing in the way it's ended. yeah, it will be disappointing, but I think they will be able to take some confidence from it. They can go pushing City all the way to the end.
All right, fingers crossed on that. Arsenal, Manchester City, who is going to blink first? Maybe Arsenal did blink first, and that lost to Aston Villa. We're keeping an eyes on it. That's the much we can take on the show today. I'm sure you had so much fun with us. We'll be doing this same time next week. But as always, we leave you with our video for the week. Remember to follow us on our social media platforms. It is at Sports Pizza. Lovely content also on YouTube saying Sports Pizza. My name is Edwin Onyeboles. It is adios. God bless you.
And from David, it's goodbye.